Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Last week we watched Bernard and the Genie.
This week we watched Genie.
The connection is not genies, though.
Oh.
The connection is Genie is a remake of Bernard and the Genie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wish it was good, though.
Put your lamps away and open your jewelry box, listeners, because welcome to Oldie but a Goodie.
Whoa! That was the intro I wished for.
You may be thinking that this is just a podcast from Wish, but no, it's the podcast of your wishes. It's Oldie but a Goodie. My name is Sandro. I'm joined by Zach. We review movies, and this week we're talking about the Prime original, Genie, from 2023, because it was a remake of the pretty good TV movie we did last week, and I picked it because I thought it'd be funny, and then Zach picked it, and I didn't think he would pick it. I was expecting one of the other ones.
Every single answer to all the questions I had about this movie was a red flag. And sometimes you just gotta go and pick the one with all the red flags, right?
You didn't me. Like, sometimes when you were giving me the options, I'm like, that sounds terrible, I'm gonna pick that. And then, it turns out to be like monster trucks or something. But you don't do that. You pick the good one, usually.
No, I was in an awfully adventurous mood last time. I don't know, I was feeling it. We had a good run of movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, We've been far too wholesome, far too happy. We're enjoying our lives. Let's inflict some pain on our eyeballs, for the viewers' enjoyment.
And so you picked the American remake of the British TV movie Bernard and the Genie. Now, if you haven't heard last week's episode, stop right now and go listen to that, because this is not gonna be an entry-level episode. If you just want a review of Genie...
Oh, that's true.
Go and, we're reviewing a remake, so... Spoiler-free and then spoilers, yes, but without the context of that first movie, there's a very high chance you're going to get nothing out of this episode.
Yeah. Go watch the original British thing on YouTube before listening to this podcast.
I mean, if you want, sure.
And then also listen to that podcast. Also subscribe to the Patreon.
Yep.
And then come back here.
No. And then subscribe to Amazon Prime, and then subscribe to Paramount Plus on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, this is where we reveal our Amazon Prime sponsorship.
Watch Genie, come back, and then have a listen to this one. Should we get right into it? Let's get right into it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Wish, because this felt like the Wish version of the last week's movie.
Yep.
I don't know about you, Sandro.
Yes.
But I did not have a positive review for this film.
You asked me last week what I'm going to rate the movies that I chose. My answer for this movie was it's going to be 50-50. It's going to be equal parts bad and equal parts good.
That's true. Yeah.
I agree with that. I think this movie is right down the middle. It's got some stuff that I liked, and then some stuff that I absolutely did not like at all.
There was a lot more for me stuff that I disliked, and it's specifically the problem that it's a remake.
Yes.
If I hadn't watched the first film, I think I would agree with you that I would be right down the middle.
Yes.
But because of the context of the previous film we watched, this goes from like a right down the middle to to a 0 to a -1.
But does it still have that? Because I usually do look up some behind-the-scenes stuff before watching movies, and I got a little bit of behind-the-scenes knowledge that might make you actually be like, oh, wait, hang on a second. You might think that this is a bunch of Americans, those capitalist pigs, those Americans being like, oh, I'm taking this TV movie that no one's heard of and I'm making it into
That's literally the only reason I hate this film.
into a wholesome American Christmas direct-to-DVD popcorn, a piece of, you put it on in the background sort of Christmas movie. But Zach, this is written by one person, and that person is the same person who wrote Bernard and the Genie. He made this. He decided to make this.
What? That's so bizarre.
I'm fascinated by that. His recent output, to be fair, has not been great. Everything he's done over the last decade, I don't think is very good. But he's a good enough writer, as we saw in the first one, to be like, he knows what he's doing, and he's very funny. And he's adapting his own work here to make it more American. So that means that everything that happened here... Maybe this wasn't a random cash grab TV movie. Maybe this goes deeper, Zach. Maybe it goes deeper.
That's interesting, Sandro. And I'm going to raise you this point. No.
Yeah, nah. That's a good point.
Dude, this movie was rank. This movie was stinky. This movie was poo-poo. I don't know. I feel like he's just phoning it in for the paycheck.
He does just kind of copy-paste all the same jokes.
Yeah, right? Like, if you're telling me this is the same writer as the first one, how do you copy-paste the jokes but not the funny ones and just...
He got a lot of, kind of beat for beat most of the lines that I remember from the first one in here, aside from a few that wouldn't work for American audiences, and also a few that are just too adult for what this is.
Yeah, but, I don't know. It felt like it took, the framework of the first film and took away all the charm, and then,
Oh, 100% it did.
and then got, American cheese, that spray bottle cheese, and sprayed that over it, and then stuck McCarthy's face on it.
Yeah.
And boom, that's the movie we got, right?
It's a shame because I really like Melissa McCarthy, but her agent constantly books her just the wrong stuff. She's, for the majority of her career, I feel like she's been in stuff that she shouldn't be in.
I will say, of all the complaints in this film, I thought she was going to be the number one, and she's not really. She was actually kind of entertaining. And she puts on a good performance, actually, I felt.
I like her in this a lot. I would watch another movie with her as this Genie, doing other Genie things that's maybe not a direct remake and stole all the jokes from a different movie.
Yeah, I did have a lot of problems with her character, but it wasn't her acting.
No, it's the writing and the Americanness of it all, right?
Okay, my main complaint for this film,
Yeah.
It's not really a spoiler, so I'll just say it here. My main complaint was I did not feel the connection between the two main characters.
So in the original, Bernard Bottle is played by Alan Cumming. In this, he's played by Paapa Essiedu, who's in a bunch of stuff. He's good in other things, but he's not... How would you describe his character? I would use the word boring and cliche.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? The problem with this film is it's got the previous film.
Yes.
And then really force-fed it the, Christmas movie treatment, right?
Oh, well, yeah. It's an American Christmas movie. They're all...
It's an American, but it changes the fundamental things of the whole movie, which means it has to have all the tropes of the American Christmas film, which means the man has been changed from Alan Cumming's character to this very bland, boring, generic individual.
Yeah, he's been changed from, I'm Alan Cumming, I'm down on my luck, my girlfriend's cheating on me, but I'm making jokes, I'm a funny guy. He's been changed from that to, I have no jokes, I'm playing it straight, and I'm a dad and I gotta get my kid back, I'm a dad, I gotta get my kid. It's a Godzilla movie, actually.
The problem with that is, the American Christmas films are, romance novels.
Yes, and to be fair, I do enjoy I don't like Christmas movies, but I do like shitty Netflix Christmas movies. They are very funny. The Amazon ones just aren't as good. They're just not as good.
No. I wish the problem with this film is it's not bad enough to be so bad it's good.
I agree with this take, yeah.
It's just kind of bad, which is sad because it's so close to being so bad it's good.
And it's got all the right parts, and that's purely because it's a remake of a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, right? So this was so close to greatness.
Yeah.
But it just didn't quite get there. And it's not tropey enough, but it's tropey in all the wrong ways. And he is boring, but he's generic for a reason, because he's meant to, the tropes that he takes on are the tropes for these weird romance novels where it's just like, you make the male interest as bland as possible so that you could project your own ideas about this man, so he could be a love interest for you in your fantasy where you're marrying this handsome man that just wants to, have a happy family, blah, 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 all right? Which is fine.
No, for sure.
I like that. That's good. But it doesn't work very well for this.
No, and as well, it is a Christmas trope because we literally saw his arc in Jingle All the Way. We saw the exact same thing in Jingle All the Way. Not to get too, in depth about it, it's the same arc.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, they don't get in, and it's the same with all of these Christmas movies. At least on Netflix, they're more self-aware about it. But on, Paramount and on Amazon, they just kind of cast just non-charismatic people. I'm not saying that he isn't a charismatic actor. I'm saying that he wasn't allowed to do anything in this.
Yeah.
At least on Netflix, they'll cast some guy who was in 3 seasons of Smallville because he's a funny person and he's blonde.
But even then, I would almost disagree. The problem was he wasn't uncharismatic enough, right?
Yeah, to be funny as to how uncharismatic. Yeah, for sure.
Because then you can have the juxtaposition between funny Genie lady who's doing the funny things, and you've got this guy who's like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I fucked up. My wife hates me. Oh man.
Yeah, introducing that plot just made this movie so much worse.
It is bad.
But here's a point, and this is something that my partner brought up, because my partner actually had seen this.
Yes.
2 years ago, or maybe a year ago, had seen it in the past, had then watched Bernard and the Genie with me, and been like, oh, I've seen the remake of this. We then watched this again for the podcast, and has a very interesting point. So Bernard and the Genie is a very British Christmas movie in that it's a lot more religious than this one, but it pokes fun of religious stuff. It's a lot more narcissistic. It's a lot more
it's tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek. It's a bit cheeky. It's a bit more risque than Americans will ever dream of getting in their Christmas movies. Whereas, it kind of feels like the quintessential British Christmas movie. That first one.
Yeah.
But when you think of American Christmas movies, you think of all the tropes that are in this. So maybe it's a level deeper, Zach. Maybe this is actually him making fun of Americans by putting all of the American shit that they put in all their Christmas stuff in this to make fun of them and to get a paycheck.
Wow.
Maybe it's self-aware. The movie doesn't necessarily feel self-aware.
No, not at any stage.
But if that is what Richard Curtis was thinking when he wrote this, that is genius, and I applaud you.
Here's the thing. I think he does know what he's doing, and he is appealing to the American audience, but that isn't a good thing.
Because he wrote Blackadder, Vicar of Dibley, and Mr. Big. He's a smart comedic writer.
Yeah. But I think that he knows what he's doing, but that doesn't make it better. It kind of makes it worse.
But on purpose, so it's kind of funny, but also the movie's not funny enough.
It is funny, but when you design something to be shit, that still means shit, right?
That's true. No, for sure.
To put it bluntly. Look, I'm a little biased. I like British humor way more than American humor.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I feel I don't know. It just wasn't there for me. There were things, there were jokes, but it's once again, the problem with this film, it didn't fix any of the problems I had with the previous film and its things. It only made things worse.
Yeah, it just added on to them. Yeah, for sure. Oh, it fixed some of the... We'll get into it in spoilers, but it fixed some of, like, the Genie powers rules. I liked how it dealt with that.
It did go over those a bit more, which I appreciated at least.
I liked that a lot. I was like, that's nice.
But it also... It brought up more questions.
That's the problem when you try and explain things.
Yeah, because you explain it, but then it's like, well, hold on a second.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess we'll get to it. But I very much like the first one a lot more.
Oh yeah.
And this one was definitely, in my opinion, worse. And I didn't enjoy it as much. But it wasn't the worst thing I've ever watched.
Is it the worst thing we've done on this season? I mean, Flintstones was technically not great, but I think I enjoyed it more than this.
This is definitely the worst thing we've watched. That's what I would say.
You preferred Southland Tales over this? You hated Southland Tales.
I absolutely preferred Southland Tales over this.
Maybe you were just pretending to hate Southland Tales for entertainment value.
Look, here's the thing. At least Southland Tales was so bad it's good,
That's
right?
True, yes.
I would say Southland Tales is so bad it's good because it's so stupid. And at least at the ending, it did kind of come together. It's like a worse version of Donnie Darko, but like there was interesting ideas in this. The problem with this one is I've already seen this movie this year, and I saw it better.
Less than a week ago.
I saw this film, and it was better, and now I've watched a worse version of it.
Like, it is different, but it's not different enough.
No, that's the problem. It just doesn't change enough, or it changes too little. And it's just like, commit to something, do something big, change up the script, flip the... I don't know, man. Come on.
Actually, there are a few things that I should mention, a few firsts with this episode, actually. This is the first time we've ever reviewed a movie in the current decade that we're in. That's the... outside of Patreon... Obviously. It's the first time that we've ever done that on the main show. It's also the first time we've ever reviewed a remake directly after doing the original, because we just don't do that. Because here's the problem with doing that, is you immediately compare them. It's kind of not a good...
Yeah, which is what we're doing. So, that's interesting. Is there a way we can... Is there something special we should do where it's, like, compared to the first one? I don't know.
Oh, we could come up with, like, a special rating. But out of an oldie or a goodie, what do you think this is, though? Oh, and also, it's another fucking Christmas movie. It's so cringe to be reviewing this so far out.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. Last week we were talking about, it's a week after Christmas. It's not too bad, you know. This is cringe.
This is too far.
We are in cringe territory. We are super cringe. Turbo cringe right now.
Anyway, oldie or a goodie?
Just like this movie, turbo cringe. I rated an oldie. This is a big, fat oldie for me. I don't even feel bad for giving this. Like, it's an Amazon Prime. Bezos can wipe his tears away with his cash.
I'm sure that the writer of this is like, haha, that's what I wanted them to give it.
Yeah, you bastard. You did this on purpose.
Maybe. Probably. I don't know. Like, the movie that he wrote directly before this was Yesterday, which was that movie where a guy wishes that the Beatles never existed, and then, like, no. He randomly wakes up in a world where the Beatles don't exist, and then he writes all of the Beatles songs himself, and then gets famous, and it's like, what happens if that was a thing? And that movie was okay. He wrote that before this. That was an okay movie.
Because he came up with a new idea and can do new things. In this, he's like copying. I think he's a great writer, but I don't think he's a great, like, remaker, you know? Because he's trying to use the old points and use the plot, but he's trying to modernize it at the like, it's just not gelling.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just not gelling very well, and I don't think it's very good.
I'm going to give this an oldie as well. It's the first oldie that I'm giving out this season. This is definitely an oldie.
Whoa! He did it, ladies and gentlemen! We got him! Ladies and gentlemen! We've got an oldie on the board! It took a long, hard slog of watching.
I tried to give Flintstones an oldie, you son of a bitch.
Nope. You rated that a goodie. Glowing gold star. You love that film. It was the best film we watched last year. But we finally got him.
This is definitely it. Even though I didn't hate this. Like, I thought it was okay, but that's not good enough to give it.
But sometimes
Goodie.
an oldie isn't old. It just makes you feel old watching it. I aged watching this at least 5 years.
I'm trying to remember when I watched this. I think I woke up on Saturday, like late Saturday morning, and I went, it's time to watch podcast movies. So I got some food, and I sat down and I watched it while waking up. And then I took notes, and I was like, that was a movie. And then I got on with my day.
I didn't watch it on Saturday because it was my birthday.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I was like, fuck that shit.
Happy birthday with this movie.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, did I mention it was my birthday? Oh, that's crazy. Wow. Anyway, no, I watched it just before the podcast. Because I left it to the last minute, and then I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to watch the podcast movie.
That's what I did last week.
I watched it, I was like, It's bad when you do that because you're forcing yourself to watch it.
We should get into some spoilers. There's no box office for you to guess. It's got 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, pretty negative.
But the audience score.
Oh, what's the audience score?
63%. I don't even have to look that up. I looked at it and it scarred my brain.
That makes sense. I feel like if you're gonna watch this, you're probably gonna like it, because from the look at the poster, who's gonna watch this and be like, what the fuck, I hated this? You get the vibe.
Middle-aged housewives in America.
That is the core demographic of all of these Christmas movies, yes.
That's my guess at the core demographic, yeah.
That literally is. But I watch them and I laugh at them.
And seeing that audience score made me think, yeah, they knew what they were doing when they made this film.
Yeah, of course. This is just a copy and paste Christmas movie.
It's so funny coming into this and be like, this movie sucks, but like, does it really suck if they succeeded on what they intended to do?
No, this works for who the audience is.
Right? Like, if you think about it, all movies are subjective and it's all art, right?
For sure.
And it's not necessarily made for us.
This is a product. This isn't art.
Yeah, but like, this is a piece of art, much like the Mona Lisa herself. It is something that people can interpret in different ways. So does that necessarily mean this was bad? Or that it was just not for us, you know?
You can look at the Mona Lisa and be like, that's the best painting ever. Or you could be me and be like, that's an overrated piece of shit. So...
Whoa, hot take. I think it's a good painting, but I don't think it's the best painting ever.
It's not the best painting ever.
It's just a very famous painting, and the reason for
because
that...
because it's so bland and average, and that everyone is like, that's a good painting.
No, okay. Well,
anyway, before we get into more conversations,
no. You can't run away from that. No, it has an interesting story behind it, which is why it's so famous. Why it's the most famous in the world. But yeah, I agree. It's probably not the best painting in the world.
Anyway, tagline, Zach. You got to give him a thumb up or a thumb down. Now, do you remember that there were no taglines last week?
Yes, I do. So I'm excited for some taglines this week.
All right, so you got to give these a thumb up or a thumb down.
Yep.
To nothing. There's no taglines again. Fuck you.
Oh, God damn it. I was like, oh, there's taglines this week. Oh, we're ready to go. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, my God. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day was already ruined by this movie.
Happy birthday, I guess. It's late, but whatever.
Yeah. I can't believe this is the movie I had to watch on my birthday week. Single tear.
Well, howdy there. Selly McSella here, back with another ad. Did you know that I'm a big fan of The Police? The band, that is. I only like the cops when one of them is played by Eddie Murphy. And that is very relevant to this week's promo, which is an ad for patreon.com/Oldie But a Goodie Pod, where this month, Sandro and Zach have reviewed Beverly Hills Cop 4. Axel F., he's a dad now, and he's on Netflix, and he's making jokes. So many jokes. Here's a clip.
But you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure one of my gripes with the old ones is the same as this one. They play fucking Axel F. every fucking 2 fucking seconds. Like, fuck me. I can't... They have, like, slow reverb Axel F for the dramatic moments, and it took me so out of the movie because I was like, what the fuck? They're playing Axel F in this really sad dramatic scene. But here's the thing, it's kind of a banger of a song, so I was absolutely okay with it.
It is a banger of a song, and like did they even trick you at times? So there's a song that Lil Nas X made for this movie, which sounds like it's just its own song.
Yeah.
Until you get to the drop, in which is just another version of Axel F.
Yeah! Oh, it was so good. It was mwah.
I honestly can't believe that Eddie Murphy needed money so badly that he made another Beverly Hills Cop movie, but he did. And they reviewed it over on patreon.com/oldiebuddygoodypod, where you can also hear their review for Beverly Hills Cop 2. For number 3, you've got to go to a different podcast, and I don't think they ever reviewed 1. Maybe for like 5 minutes at one point. Anyway, that's up there. Links in the episode description. You can also subscribe for a lower tier and get a bunch of ad-free episodes, so you don't have to listen to me say that I like the police ever again. Alright, spoilers, watch out, we're spoiling the movie Genie.
Yes, spoiler time. If you don't wish for spoilers, then go watch or listen to last week's podcast.
We're not going through the plot because we already went through the plot last week. The only new additions to the plot are just like things that will kind of compare to the first movie, so, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Instead of going through the plot, because we're doing the thing, we can do a comparison. Of the plot.
Well, so we got Bernard. He still works in an art
yes,
dealership, which I liked. They kept that. But with one big twist. In the first one, the boss was played by Rowan Atkinson, and Bernard was played by Alan Cumming. Zach, who's the boss played by this time?
Why, it's Alan Cumming, who is, of course, the original main character. Now he's the bad guy. It's a classic knee slapper, and I liked it.
I
was a fan. Again, that's definitely a pro.
And I like how Bernard in this movie is British, which I liked that they kept him British, because I think if they made him American, it would have been even more boring.
Yes, yeah.
But Alan Cumming in this is American, which is so fun. It just makes it even funnier.
Yeah. I agree. All of this is a positive, but it brings me to the first negative, which is that the whole plot with his boss doesn't really matter and is shunted away.
It's just an introduction, really. It doesn't ever come back.
It comes back at the very end because they have the same ending where they're like, haha, the boss donates all his money.
Yeah, but it's not as big of a moment. It's just like a small joke.
And also not relevant because of something that happens at the end of the film. So none of it matters. And so it's just different. And I guess it's okay that it's different from the previous one because it's a different film. But it's like, I liked that plot of the original film.
Yeah.
I liked the bad guy. But he has like 2 scenes, which is sad because I wanted him to have more scenes because I was more into it. And it was funny because he said, enter ye. And I went, ah!
But he said it in an American accent, which made it so strange. It was so weird.
It was so weird, but I was on board.
And like he was bald as well. I was like, what was Alan Cumming filming while he was on set for this? What other movie was he doing?
It was fine. I was with it. Alan Cumming was good, but he only got like 10 minutes less, 5 minutes of screen time. I was sad. I wanted to see more of him as the evil boss.
Yeah.
Trying to fuck his shit up, being like, we've come to investigate your house.
Yes.
Doing, like, Rowan Atkinson
Yeah.
barely had any time in the last film we watched.
Yeah, he was just there because he knows the writer. That's why he was there.
But somehow he still had more screen time than Alan Cumming in this movie, which is crazy to me.
It is crazy. Also, the fact that Rowan Atkinson isn't in this was a little bit of a disappointment as well. He does still show up in things, like he was in Wonka the year this came out, so maybe scheduling conflicts or something, I don't know. He's making Johnny English 4 at the moment. Why? But he's doing it. So, like, he's still acting. He could have shown up as the doorman or something.
Yeah, but like, that they could not have afforded him. Prime Video, they were like, the reason he's not in this film is because they were like, nah, stuff that. We ain't paying this man, you know?
You know what? That's fair. Also, this is for Americans, and Americans know who Alan Cumming is. I don't know if Rowan Atkinson's as big over there as he is here and in England.
Really? You would say, wow, that's interesting.
Like, he's popular, but like, he's popular purely for Mr. Bean. So
I'm sure Johnny English and stuff is popular in America as well.
Maybe.
Get Smart, you know?
Get Smart? That was Steve. What are you...
I don't know. You know, this is popular.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's. Oh, speaking of the doorman, we should talk about that as well. The doorman in the first one, he's a British guy who is always lying, very funny. In this one, I love Mark Maron. He's a great comedian.
Yeah.
The doorman in this movie is just him improvising, which is fine, but it's not as funny. But I liked it, but it's not as funny. Also, he has a romantic relationship with the genie, which is very funny, but not as funny.
I was not huge on the doorman. I'm going to say it. The doorman was my favorite character in the previous film, so I was a bit disappointed.
For sure.
Okay, we're in spoilers. I did like the ending, though.
Yeah.
I did not like him. I didn't find him very funny. Well, I'll say one of my big criticisms of this film, I didn't find it very funny for the most part. Look, British humor tickles me funny, you know? It tickles my fancy. It's a little dark humor sometimes.
Definitely,
you know?
yeah.
And the problem is, it's like that's kind of the stuff I grew up on.
Oh, yeah, of course. Monty Python, Mr. Bean, yeah.
Yeah. Monty Python, the Holy Grail, you know, like those are stuff that my parents introduced to me, which has influenced me as a human being. So that's the kind of humor I like. So British humor.
Top Gear. I can't even think of any American comedy shows that you used to watch that like I would see in your house. The only American show that you ever watched as a kid was Star Trek. Like I actually can't think of any American shit that you used to watch.
Yeah, no. Look, and it brings me, and that's how I've grown up.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. And so I think that's influenced me a lot because I do boo-boo on Americans a lot on this show.
Yeah, for sure.
I am very anti-American media.
That's fine. Most Americans are anti that as well.
Yeah. You got me there. Maybe I'm the most American of all, actually. But yeah, no. So I didn't find a lot of this funny.
Fair.
There was a few maybe bits that I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But for the most part, I definitely didn't find it funny. And the doorman, I think, suffered. I didn't find any of his jokes particularly funny. I did like that they did this. Well, I liked and hated that they did the romantic relationship thing. At first, I hated it.
Yeah, fair.
But then by the end, I was like, okay, I'm kind of into it now, you know?
I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, I actually kind of like this. And I think that's just because Melissa McCarthy plays this genie as more of a person. Like, in the original, the genie is I'm here to do jokes.
Yes,
you know,
he's a stereotype. He's doing jokes. You know, yeah.
Whereas in this, it's a little bit more grounded. So I was,
yeah. She has a lot of good emotional beats as well. But it was just like because I was looking forward to the doorman and the difference, and I really liked the first one, and I didn't so much the second one. It really rubbed me the wrong way. But that doesn't mean it was bad. And like by the end, I really liked the ending of this film specifically. That's one of my few very positive. I liked the ending.
The ending, actually, like, the emotional beats are really good. And they're better than they were in the first one, I think, for the ending of this.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, the first one, it was a great product placement comedy advertisement, right?
Yes.
Whereas this one is a movie, but not necessarily a good one.
No, I mean, it's still a director's straight. It's not a movie, but, Speaking of, like, comparisons and stuff in terms of the humor as well, I think part of the reason why the doorman isn't allowed to do what he did in the original is because it is American, because you can't have a quote-unquote good character's whole bit is that he lies and then nothing happens. You know what I mean? It's just like, he's the lying doorman. And Americans like, that's a bad thing, so we can't have one of the good characters doing that. Equally so, we see that in Melissa McCarthy's first scene. In the first one, when Lenny Henry first comes out of the lamp, he's trying to kill Bernard. And then Bernard's like, I wish you wouldn't kill me. And he's like, damn. In this one, Melissa McCarthy comes out of the jury box, and she's like, talking in like a Scottish accent or whatever, and she's waving a knife around. She's not trying to actively kill Bernard like we saw in the first one, which is like the classic, like, you can't have the good person try to kill the other good person, therefore the good person's not a good person. They have to, like,
why not though? Why can't you have that, though? Like in the first film...
Because it was funny. I liked it.
No, but in the first film... I didn't.
Oh, no. Like, I mean, in the first one, it was funny. That's why they should have done it. It was a good joke.
That's what I'm saying. In the first one, it was funny because he's like, damn, I was trying to kill you, but now I have to... And then they learn to get along, and then they like best pals at the end, right? That's a fucking journey. And this, she's like, I wasn't trying to kill you. Just old habit. Just got knives out, you know? Which is great, but it's just objectively worse than the first... Well, it's subjectively, but objectively worse.
But also... I did like how Melissa McCarthy was Scottish, but also I didn't like how when Bernard is like, I wish I could understand what you're saying, she starts talking in an American accent because he's British. So, one, just have her talk in a British accent, and also her Scottish accent wasn't that hard to understand at the start either. I kind of knew what she was saying.
I feel like that's on Melissa a little bit. You should have been a bit more unlegible, like... Yeah, well, like, if you're from Scotland 2,000 years ago...
True.
English is going to sound a lot different.
Yeah.
Even the whole, like, haha, Scottish people have an accent, so it's hard to understand them, right? But, like, even then, that's a problem with this film, and it's a problem with the previous film. It's like, there's just some continuity problems with the lore that I could criticize for a long time.
But also, who cares as well at the same time?
No, I do, Sandro. I do. She's from 2,000 years ago. How does she know what a credit card is, Sandro? She pulls out a credit card.
I don't know if she's from 2,000 years ago, because she specifically says, the last time I was around as a genie was 2,000 years ago, because the Scottish times when she's from was like 6,000 BC or some shit. My partner looked it up, so she would have had to come out of the jury box a bunch of times and then go back into it. It doesn't make any sense for her to say 2000. It kind of makes sense for the genie in the original because he was still a human when he met Jesus. So that makes sense. But in this one, she specifically says, the last time I was out of the lamp or whatever, I met Jesus. They still do that joke, which is very weird that they do that joke again. But anyway.
Yeah, no, because it doesn't come back at all, and they, like, try and do the joke, but it's worse. No. Okay, that's a good point, because she does say, it's implied that she's way older than that, and she has come out. It also implies, potentially, that Jesus was a fake, and used the genie to do all his miracles.
Yes, which I love, but also... Like, I love that as a concept, because, I mean, yeah, like, you know, that's very funny, but also, like, for an American movie, that's fucking bold.
Yeah, that's a wild.
That's a bold joke to make.
The slight differences in story that they've done have accidentally implied that, almost.
Yes, no, for sure.
Which is, like, if you think about it too hard, which is wild that they've done this, because, yes... So she makes a joke about being a hunter-gatherer as her job, right?
She was like, I tried out being a hunter-gatherer for a little bit, but then I settled on the job of genie. Which, again, is like, that interrogation scene with her is so funny. I think that Melissa McCarthy brings so much to this. Like, if anyone else was this role, this would be a terrible piece of shit. Like, I can't think of anyone else who would be able to do this version of the movie as well as she does it. Aside from maybe the guy who did the original movie.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say it. I think it's a bad thing she was so good in this film.
It's because it kind of makes the film worse that she's so good in this.
Because, she makes the film better, which is a problem because I want the film to be so bad it's good, right?
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
So she moves the bar. She single-handedly carries it from so bad it's good to just bad.
She carries the whole movie, 100%.
Yes,
she does.
That's the problem. And she shouldn't. If she was worse, I would have enjoyed this film more.
Fair. I think she's got, like, that interrogation scene I thought was great. I liked all of the flashback scenes with her. I thought were 10 out of 10, so funny. Like, where she's just running around the Scottish Highlands.
I'll say the effects and other things, they put some money in this, you know?
They did, but may I bring up one little point, Zach?
What's that, Sandro? What's this little point?
The drone shots for any establishing scenes looked like the biggest piece of shit I think I've ever watched in a movie. They've got this effect on them to make it look like they're dolls or like they're toys, but it's just like random shots of New York.
Yeah, that's a specific camera thing. It's like using a fisheye lens or something. It allows you to make things look like dolls, which is a camera technique. That's like, there's popular videos online. It's like, well, look, everyone looks like ants and other. It's a choice. I was okay with it.
I hated it. I thought it looked like AI. I was like, what the fuck is this? Took me out of the movie every time. Anyway, what's some of the funny stuff that the Genie does? She's got the Genie credit card. I liked that. That was a very fun addition.
I did not like that.
In terms of the lore, it makes no sense, and it kind of ruins a lot of the realism, but also, I thought it was very funny.
If it had happened just a little later on in the film, but it's like they bust the credit card out of the gate, which was a funny little gag, but then you think about it and it's like, wait, isn't she supposed to not? They don't emphasize enough that she doesn't know. They try to, but you can't really believe that she doesn't know how modern society works because they don't put enough into it. She's very accustomed to modern life.
There's small stuff here and there where she's like, that gym is a torture dungeon. Like, that was pretty good, but...
Oh, no, I hated that. I thought that was...
It's pretty few and far, but I thought that was hilarious. I thought that moment was great.
I thought that was stupid. That was fucking stupid. What do you fucking mean? Oh my god, I thought they made this illegal. Illegal for what? What are you talking about? You're from the fucking 6000 BC, right? Like... What torture devices were they using? At some point, she pops out and she sees torture devices, and then she goes, man, torture devices suck. All right, skip to this modern era, and she sees some people at the gym, and she's like, yes, these look like people being tortured. Haha, get it? Because people at the gym are suffering. Haha, funny joke.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny. I liked as well when she goes to like Times Square and then uses her genie magic to change all of the advertisements to like random shit.
That was pretty pog.
I like that one.
You know what? That's. I knew Sandro would like that because that's very anti-capitalism, and Sandro's like, yeah, take down the advertisement.
It's true. I liked how there was barely any sponsorships in this. That's not true. There's so many in this movie.
Yeah. No. But the problem with that is that it's anti-capitalism, but also pro-capitalism because it's also Christmas propaganda. So it's a tricky one. That one.
That's true. And this movie isn't as anti-Christmas as the first one as well. The first one's got like a little bit of like, Christmas should just be about family. What's all this capitalism stuff? And this one,
yeah,
the movie doesn't ever say that.
Pretty pro-Christmas,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
No,
like,
for sure.
There's nothing anti-Christmas in this film. Except for maybe like family gathering. Because we have this whole family gathering scene that wasn't in the first one.
I love that. Now, this is probably the one massive improvement was this scene.
What do you mean massive improvement?
Because he says, I wish you would go to hell, and then the son-in-law goes to hell.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that one because I was going to mention at least there was some more creative wishes.
Yeah, like this shows that Bernard is probably the only person who could have this power and use it for good, because as soon as the rest of his family gets it, they're all just awful.
Yeah. There's some really bad wishes, and which is good because that's what we needed. We needed some more abusing of these wishes to really build up the stakes of like, hey, like this is a lot of power for an individual to have, right?
Exactly.
So I'll give you that. I think the scene is really stupid and dumb, but it is better with wishes.
Yes.
It also confirms hell exists.
Which is so, what the fuck is this world? What is this world? Well, I guess if Jesus exists, but also Jesus had used genie magic.
Jesus could have not existed, but because hell exists, and we know hell exists, we can confirm that Jesus exists.
Yes.
Which means he was a thing. And it's so interesting because the problem is they don't dwell on the Jesus thing. They're like, haha, she knew Jesus. And then they just move on.
Yeah.
But it's like, but the implication that Jesus possibly used the wishes to become Jesus?
Yes.
And does that mean he wished to be the Son of God? Like, but she says the thing like, oh, he was the Son of God. Wow. But like, yeah, it just kind of skips over that, but also sends a guy to hell.
Because I'm like, if Jesus used the genie wishes to become the Jesus that we know from mythology Jesus, man, if he used the wishes to do that, then he would have just been, it just makes history very confusing.
Yeah, no. But God exists in this world, confirmed now, right?
Yeah, right?
What is genies to God? Is God allowing the genie to do this?
Because if God is like, oh, that guy down there is pretending to be my son and using genie magic to do miracles, then in that world, I would assume that Jesus would go straight to fucking hell and become, like, essentially the next Satan. Because God would be like, fuck you for doing that.
Yeah, but I think because of the context now thinking about it, because she says, oh, I knew Jesus, oh, he wasn't joking about the Son of God thing. Like, so that implies that she wasn't part of this thing. So I'm going to say he was the Son of God in this, but it just opens up a lot of questions.
It opens up a lot. And, like, well, I mean, no, I'm not gonna...
Let's talk about the family being huge pieces of shit.
I like that scene. He goes to hell, and then he comes out of hell, and he's all burnt. It's very funny.
I mean, he was an asshole.
Oh, he sucked. He used his wish to make his wife never be able to talk.
What the fuck? What terrible uses of... You know what? This movie also made me mad, because there's not a single good wish in this, and I was just hoping for one good wish in this entire fucking film.
That's fair.
Name a good wish, Sandra. Is there a good wish in this film?
There's good wishes for comedic effect. That's about it. Oh, the wish at the end is great, where he accidentally wishes her away too early.
Yeah.
And it works on an emotional level so much more than the original one, I think. Because he's like, oh, I didn't get to say goodbye to you. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's definitely more emotional, which I don't know if that's better or worse. I would say it's different. It's definitely, like, more emotional, though.
Yeah.
I did like the golf... I think the golf club wish was the only good wish in this film, is what I'm going to say, right?
Well, actually, I want to talk about... Specifically in terms of the wishes, this goes to the plot of the movie. So Bernard, he's a workaholic. His boss asks him to stay extra time there, so he misses his daughter's birthday, which then means his wife and daughter, they leave. They go to her grandma's house. No, her mum's house, the kid's grandma's house.
Which is, it's a big, like, whoa, this is... Yeah.
And then, like, all throughout the movie, he's basically trying to win the wife back, but it doesn't work. She's gotten with someone else. She's having, she's like, I'm gonna
point this out in this movie, because this is a post-Aladdin movie.
Yes.
They mention the 3 wishes.
They bring up, he makes 3 wishes, and then he's like, aren't I out?
Yeah, and I'm sure you're gonna talk about it later. But they also bring up love as a thing, because that's also in Aladdin, where he wishes that someone would love him, and the genie's like, whoa, you can't change someone's, opinions on other people, right?
You can according to Witcher law, but not according to this law, apparently. Oh, well.
Not according to this law, apparently. Yeah, but, like, that was a thing from Aladdin that was not in the first movie.
Yes.
But they mention it here. It's like, oh, I'm just going to wish for my wife to love me again. And she's like,
That's not going to work. You're going to have to use your wishes to convince your wife.
Yeah, so they mention that because they're from Aladdin. They just put that in this movie. But continue on.
I like that point. So then, yeah, the whole point of the movie is Bernard and the genie. You use the wishes, use magic to essentially, like, convince the wife that while she probably doesn't want to be with him anymore, he can still take care of the daughter. And that's nice. Like, that was a nice thing. But then Then all of the Mona Lisa stuff happens. I'm sure that we'll get to that later. Then the ending of the movie is like, okay, what if, what's the wish exactly? They do a time travel wish, essentially, where it just, like, erases the whole movie to the start of the movie.
Well, he just wishes he could go back to the start of the movie. That's his wish.
His wish is to go back to the start of the movie, not miss his daughter's birthday party. And her birthday party was to go ice skating because she's a kid and that's a fun thing. But then, and this is what I don't like. So then he's like, I'm going to use my wishes. I've gone back in time. The rules have established that once the genie leaves, you get 3 wishes. So that's which I liked that.
Yeah, it was a good little bit of lore. It's like, oh, okay, so he's got 3 wishes. That's cute. That's nice.
And so he uses the first wish to go back in time. He uses the second wish to get a reservation at a fancy Michelin star restaurant that the daughter wouldn't give a fuck about. Then they go and they sit down.
Shitty use of wish.
Terrible wish. They sit down, the daughter's like, I don't want anything off this fancy-ass fucking menu. What the fuck is this? I just want ice cream and some chips. And then he uses his third wish to give her ice cream and chips. Just go ice skating. What the fuck are you doing?
Wow. Bad uses of wishes. It like, first day, by the way, of having the wishes.
He's used all 3 up.
All 3. That's fucking bad.
Now, Zach, at the start of the movie, and to show his wife that he cares about her, in this, he's gone back in time thing, he's back at the start of the movie, he's like, to Alan Cumming, he's like, I quit, right? He quits at the start. And then, he tells his wife that, and she's like, yay, that's so cool. How the fuck are you gonna make money now? You've used up all your fucking wishes. What? You've quit. She doesn't have a job. What are you gonna do?
No, but Sandra, it's implied throughout the movie that he is fine for money.
He's fine for money because he has a Genie credit card.
Yeah, no. But at no point in this movie is the problem we don't have any money, right?
I guess, but again, the cost of living's going up. You're living in New York City. You've got a kid. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Here's the thing, though. By the context of his film, I think he's, like, filthy rich.
Maybe. Well, I mean, like, he does make $5 million in the first one, right? At the start of the original, he makes that much money. So, I mean, potentially he's pretty rich, yeah.
It's never said, because if you imply he's rich, he's harder to be... Like, if you say he's rich, he's harder to be relatable to.
For sure.
But judging by what happens, he never wishes for money, right? Which is literally like one of Alan Cumming's first wishes, like, oh, I wish my pockets were full of money, right? Because that's what a regular middle class / poor person would ask for immediately, right?
Yeah.
Is money, so you don't have to worry about any money anymore, right? But he doesn't do that. And so my going theory is that he's super rich from this job that he constantly works at, right? He's a workaholic.
For sure, yeah, he is.
So I think he's got a lot of money because they go to a restaurant. A very expensive restaurant.
Extremely expensive. So fancy.
Yeah, right? Like, going to fancy and all this sort of thing, right? So I'm pretty sure that they are super filthy rich. Also, they potentially still have the Lamborghini that she summoned up earlier and that they could sell, and all the toys from... No, because he reversed time.
He reversed it, so he doesn't have any of that stuff again. He buys the dollhouse himself again for her.
But I'm gonna say he can get another job. It's definitely... He's not doing the wisest maneuvers.
He could start his own business. He's got a lot of options. But again, his wife wants his attention, and so him starting a new job or starting a new business will draw his attention away even more. Because he's got to start a new job or start a business.
Absolutely. I will say, for sure, his wishes are some of the worst wishes I have ever seen. It was bad. I was fucking pissed. I was livid when he's like, man, I wish my kid could eat peanut butter sandwiches and have fucking raspberry ice cream at this super fancy restaurant we've gone to. What was the fucking point of going to the fancy restaurant and wishing for a reservation if you're not even going to get something from the fucking restaurant? What?
actually makes me even more upset as well when you think about this whole movie is he doesn't know how to be a dad. Melissa McCarthy comes in and tells him how to be a dad.
Yeah.
Right? First of all, he's a man and he needs a woman to come in and be like, this is how you have a family, right?
Well, that's realistic at least.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, he doesn't learn a lesson from that. He doesn't know this is how I should be a dad. Because the first decision that he makes when Melissa McCarthy isn't around is to take his daughter to a fancy restaurant she doesn't want to be at instead of ice skating, which is where she chose to have a birthday party.
Oh, it's bad. It's rough.
It's so bad. He still sucks. Bernard still sucks. He's still going to get a divorce. It's just going to be like 3 weeks later than it was when the movie started.
I'll give him a few months, you know. I think they have a few months, you know, because he's done this thing. He's quit his job.
Yeah, but he hasn't learned his lesson. And we see that at the end of the movie.
No, he definitely has not.
He has not. At least in Jingle All the Way, Arnie kind of maybe learns a little bit of a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's because I think they're going to have several months where he's finding a job.
Yes.
And then once he finds the job again, the old problems just come back because, as you said, he has not learned his lesson.
He hasn't. Anyway, let's talk about the Mona Lisa side plot because that's the best part of this story.
What do you mean? That's a fucking worse. It's just worse than the other one.
I liked how it dramatically, like in the original one, it's still a funny comedy when they realize that they accidentally wished the actual Mona Lisa into their bedroom. In this one, it switches tone completely and it becomes an all-out crime movie for like half an hour.
Yeah, I like that the house gets on fire and then the firemen discover it, but like if I discovered the Mona Lisa in someone's house, do you know what I would think first thing, Sandra?
It's a copy.
It's a copy, obviously, right? You could just say, oh, it's a copy, and they go, oh, sure.
And plus, he probably thinks it's a copy as well. Like, who...
Yeah, like, obviously, that's what you would think if someone, if someone got you the Mona Lisa. It's like, oh, it's a copy. And so that's what you say. And then they go, okay, it's a copy, but still maybe I report this.
Yeah.
And then the policeman comes over and you have a haha, oh, it's just a copy, you know, yeah, it's crazy that it got stolen. And then the policeman looks at it and he goes, wait a minute, this is a real one.
Oh my God.
We're going to have to take you in, right? And then that seems like a more natural way of doing it. But no, he's like, oh, ma'am, I guess I have the real one. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I'm going to jail. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. But when he's in jail, I liked that they're a lot more smart with it. They immediately arrest Melissa McCarthy. She's got a crush on Tom Cruise for most of the movie, so she was off watching Top Gun, which is very funny.
That was funny. Okay, that was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I'll give the movie credit. It's very stupid, but she goes and sees Mission Impossible several times.
Yes.
And she's just swooning over Tom Cruise, which I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
She calls him the tall man on the big screen, and I'm like, that's very funny, because he is on a big screen, but as everyone knows, Tom Cruise is quite short, so it's a good joke.
It's very... It annoys me, though, because it takes some of the jokes from the previous film and it makes them slightly worse, which I didn't like.
Yeah.
Because it was obvious in the first film, I think, that I think there's a lot of jokes in this film that are worse, but we get because we've seen the first one, right? Where she's like, haha, he's a big man, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not obvious what she's talking about till they fully explain the jokes in this film, and I don't like that. It's an American thing they do. They just kind of explain the joke a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And it annoys me. But yeah, she's like, haha, he's a big man. And he's like, no, actually, he's not a big guy. He's actually just a regular sized guy. It's the screen that makes them look bigger, and it's, yeah.
Although saying that, we are probably the only people in the world who have watched both these movies. No one's seen the first one.
It's true.
So then she's also arrested, and it, like, in the original, they immediately get out of it because they're both in the room together. In this one, they lock them up separately so that they can't get their story straight, which is so smart.
Yeah, no, it literally points it out, and it's like, what, you think we're gonna put you together in the same van to talk for hours so you can get your story straight? Nuh-uh.
It makes there be way more stakes because you're like, oh, actually, how is he going to make the wish that this didn't happen then?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, we should mention the detective is played by Luis Guzman, who we recently saw in Beverly Hills Cop 4. He's
it's true.
He's Gomez Adams in Wednesday, I think. He's great. I like him whenever he's in things.
I like him. Yeah. He's very good. But no, it was interesting. I was really hoping we were going to get a montage where he has to spend like a month or two in jail.
For sure.
And then it's like finally at like a court hearing, he manages to meet her. Like after all this, like this could have gone so much darker and whatever. But like, nope. He manages to like wrestle his way to speak on a megaphone so that he could make a wish.
Yeah, over the intercom he makes the wish and then she hears, which I'm like, the rules are weird, but I guess if he speaks it and she hears it, she has to do it.
Yeah, that's the main
Yeah,
rule.
so then she swaps the paintings and they don't reverse time at this point because she's lied and said that time travel was a bad wish to make. So
yeah, she said time travel wasn't allowed, but it's actually it is allowed as we learn.
Is there anything else to mention? The carpet ride scene in this it looked somehow worse. The CGI was somehow worse.
Also weird because there is an amusing joke where the kid thinks he's got a mistress already.
That was funny.
The genie, yeah, they're banging, which is like what you would assume, right? If you were that kid. That made sense. I thought that was good. But then it's like, oh yeah, I have a magic carpet. And then they're just flying around and the kid's totally fine. The kid isn't like, holy fucking shit, you have a genie. Like, there's a scene missing after that where the kid goes, all right, I want this, 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 right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what a kid would do. But it just moves on. And it annoys me. Because it's almost good, but it's not.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because then you have that scene and then there's like stuff piling up in the background where there's all these wishes. And the dad goes, oh man, I wish I hadn't told you about the genie. And then the kid, right? Yeah. And then the kid's like, huh? What's happening? Whoa, that's a lot of stuff, Dad. Thanks for all the presents, right? And he's like, yeah.
That's a very good joke, actually. I really like
right?
that joke.
I came up with that in like 2 seconds. Come on, man. Where the other guy, this so-called writer of yours had to just copy the jokes from fucking 30 years ago or some shit.
This is a pretty lazy script. Like, all of the funny jokes in this... If you haven't seen the first movie before, all the funny jokes in this are the same jokes as the first one. If you had seen the first movie,
yeah,
all of the funny jokes in this are how they change things. Like, that's what's kind of fun. Anyway, whatever.
Doesn't make sense that she pulls out a credit card in that scene. It's like a funny joke and it makes sense as a movie trope, but like, it doesn't make sense that she knows what a credit card is because she's literally 2 seconds ago, we were struggling to get modern clothes to work for the genie.
Yeah, because he never wishes for the credit card.
No.
She just pulls it out and she's like, I've got a genie credit card.
Yes. So...
yeah, that's a good point.
I think she's pulling a little bit of a fast one. I think she does actually know, and she's trying to trick him into learning a lesson and fails.
What happens at the end of the movie is, oh yeah, you're right, they do stay together for at least 3 months, because we cut 3 months in the future at the end of the movie, and yeah, we just see that the genie is running a pizza restaurant with the doorman, who quit.
Yeah!
And everyone's happy now. Yay, end of movie.
Yeah! Now, how did she get there? Wait. Oh, wait. Wait. I was going to ask you how she's there, but I figured it out. Because he time traveled back, this is before he released the genie. So he can release the genie again, right?
Guess. But wait, so, because at the end of the plot, he wishes the genie to go...
yes.
Back in time, back home, right? No, he doesn't. He wishes her free. He doesn't wish her back in time.
Correct.
So she can go wherever she wants.
Yes. But then he travels back in time, which reverses everything that happened. So I believe she's once again trapped as a genie.
And then he lets her go, and then he lets her free, and what she does is she goes and dates the doorman, and then they open a restaurant.
In this timeline, instead of going back, she dates the doorman.
That makes sense.
So we have the ending where she travels back in time and goes back to her own time, and an ending where she gets with the guy.
Interesting. Well, we're going to have to find out in Genie 2 what really happened. They're not making another one of these.
Fuck me. And guess what? I'm not watching it if they do.
Look, this movie is fine. It's not great. It's very average. It's you know.
It's just missing a lot of polish. It had a lot of the problems that I had with the first one, plot-wise, but none of the charm of the first one that I really liked specifically. So I'm just left with a Swiss cheese of a movie where there's so many holes in the plot, and I'm constantly like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That they did the whole like joke where it's like, haha, we're gonna have the Santa Mall thing, right? Where we give all the kids presents and stuff. They have the same thing, except not as dark, where they like, kill a child.
Blow a kid up, yeah.
But they still have like presents appearing out of nowhere. But like no one reacts to it, though.
The parents are like, oh, yay!
People are literally witnessing a fucking live horse being conjured out of the ether, and they're like, yay! And not like, what the fuck? Where the fuck did this horse come from?
What's happening here? Yeah, which is what would actually happen.
So it's more realistic, but it's also not more realistic.
It's just more American.
Yeah, and therefore, worse.
Some American remakes of British things are better. Like The Office, which is purely better because Ricky Gervais is not in it. It's the only reason why it's a better show. It's worse in all ways, aside from that.
You know what, Sandro? Based, I'll say, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
thank you. Yep.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, well, Sandro, I wish we would stop talking about this movie and do some raving reviews.
But I wanted to talk more about the religious aspect of this movie and probably annoy a lot of our listeners.
No, you didn't. No one did. Everyone wanted that bit to end. No, it's time for me to get some reviews for this movie from the only place on Earth that matters, which is Rotten Tomatoes. From the only people that matters, which are the audience. Although, look,
Yeah.
I have to agree with the critics a little more this time. I'm going to say it. Look, I'm going to admit it. The critics gave this 30%. The audience gave this 60%. I'm kind of more on the critics' side this time.
It's interesting. Well, like, only 30 critics reviewed this, but looking at the audience review, and I'm not actually looking at the reviews, I'm just looking at the score, only like a couple hundred audience people actually reviewed this on Letterboxd.
Yeah. It's an Amazon Prime movie thing, right? So it's not going to exactly attract the biggest audience.
For sure. But at least it has a critic score and more than 20 audience reviews, unlike last week.
And I will tell you right now, there was a lot of positive reviews and a lot of negative reviews.
That makes sense.
You'll find out. But let's just say I had a bias towards some of the reviews.
That makes sense. I'm having a look here on Letterboxd. This has got almost 5.5k reviews on Letterboxd.
Wow.
A lot more people reviewing this on Letterboxd and Rotten Tomatoes. And it's pretty much the same. Very high or very low from pretty much everyone.
Yeah. I think that makes sense because this is a Prime Video thing.
Yeah.
A lot more people who use Letterboxd probably have Prime.
That's true.
And therefore can just like see it in their list and go, let's watch this movie, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like people would whereas like Rotten Tomatoes is more the everyday people, I would say, not like film fans.
Yeah.
And therefore not all of them have Prime.
Exactly.
That would be my argument there.
And they're too busy watching Beast Games to watch this, so, you know.
It's true. I'm going to pick some Rotten Tomato reviews. You have to guess the score. The scores go from 0.5 to 5.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready, yeah.
You wish. So Jeff says, Adding ice cubes to water has more chemistry than the two main characters.
That's a great review. That's a great review.
This is a great review.
That's a 5 out of 5 review for sure, but I'm going to guess the rating's probably like a 1 or a 1.5. I'll say 1.5.
Ooh, you should have gone with 1. It was 1 out of 5.
1 out
You
of
were right
5.
on the
Damn,
money.
damn.
But you got the gist, though. You got the gist.
That's very funny.
Yeah. There's some bangers in here. Harvey says, can't believe how bad this movie really is. So much of this movie makes no sense, and honestly, a 5-year-old child could make a better plot.
That's so rude.
That one was a mean one.
That could be 0.5. That's really mean, so it could be 0.5.
Are you going to pick 0.5?
I'm going to pick 0.5.
It's 0.5.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, all I need to do is get all the rest of them right to match last week. So let's see what happens.
Gerald says, everybody who watches this longer than 30 minutes needs an appointment with a shrink.
So rude.
If you thought the second one was mean.
Oh, that's 100% 0.5 again.
Yeah, that's 0.5 again. All right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. Sharon says, so was there actually a script Melissa McCarthy referred to, or did she just improvise her lines throughout?
Ooh, I mean, it's Melissa McCarthy, so she probably improvised most of this, which is why it's funny and works. Maybe. A little bit.
But what do you think they rated this?
That could go either way.
That's why I put it in here.
Maybe a 3. No, but 3's still rotten. I think 3.5 is where the line is drawn, isn't it? I'm going to say 3, though. I'm going to say 3.
It's 3 out of 5.
Oh, nice.
Damn,
nice.
I put that one in a curveball in and you still got it. All right, Sandro, now for the final review. If you get this one right, you match last week's, you know?
Yeah.
Peter says, if I had one wish, Melissa McCarthy would be starring in Spy 2 instead of terrible movies like this.
Spy is her best movie. Spy is her best film. That's
what
one of the
it's saying.
funniest ones.
That's what it's saying. It's saying, I wish she would be in Spy 2. He wants a sequel to Spy 2. Peter's like, I like Melissa McCarthy, but she's in this shitty movie.
Why is she in her Spy 2's been in the works for? She's a spy, and her arch nemesis is Jason Statham, and they're being spies. It's such a good movie.
And look, Peter agrees with you. He just wishes she wouldn't do shit like this instead.
I hope that we're doing Spy next week for episode 300. If that's your pick, that's a great episode 300. It's Spy. Fuck yeah, what a good movie. Anyway, 2.
Are you sure?
I don't think it's that negative. I wish we were doing Spy 2 instead. No, I think if you're going to rate this movie negative, you're going to rate it really negative. So I'll go for a 1 again.
Oh, man, you were so close, but it's a 1.5. It's between 2 and 1. You were so close.
Well,
I guess it's confirmed that you just suck at this.
I guess. I don't know which one your one is, though. That's hard.
Yeah. Look, I did kind of mask my one by putting a lot of negative reviews in so I could put my negative review in.
I'm going to say yours is probably I don't think yours is going to the shrink, because that's very mean.
Yeah.
Yours is definitely not the improv one, because that was a positive rating. There was one that was 1.5. It was the first one, right?
No, that was the last one was 1.5. The top one was 1, though.
Was 1. I think... what was that first one again?
Adding ice cubes to water has more chemistry than the two main characters.
That's very funny and clever, which is very unlike Rotten Tomatoes, which makes me think that's yours.
There's some clever answers here. I like the last one about the Spy 2.
That one is very good, yeah.
So do you think the first one's my one?
I think the chemistry one's yours. Spy could be yours, but I don't think you've seen Spy, have you?
No, I haven't.
No, okay.
I'm a big fan of ice cubes in water, though, as is apparent. Because, yes, I was the first one. I was the ice cubes to water has more chemistry.
I was going to be like, that's a letterbox review because it's smart.
Yeah, no, I came up with it and I'm like, this is too smart, but it's also quite funny, so I'm going to use it anyway.
Excellent. All right. Well, there we go. That's the whole episode. Not quite on track with with last week's, but only one less, which is pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah. You were close. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll figure out what we're doing next week in a second. Because Zach, you've got the big honor of picking episode 300, which is going to be huge.
Yes. Yeah. I've picked up some real great movies for this one that I really think will emphasize, because we spent a long time here, you and I, talking about movies. So I thought it was going to be real important what I chose. So I spent literal weeks, months, nearly a year coming up with the answers for this one, Essentially, since we started doing this format, I've been brewing up what movies we're going to do next week. So this is very important to me.
That's incredible foresight that you managed to know that I would pick a Genie movie and that would be like a potential connection or something.
Well, yeah, okay. They're not going to relate well to this one, but they're important movies, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll be happy with whatever you pick, I feel. But I put a lot of time and effort into this, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Yeah, cool. Excellent. Yeah, because you usually for the special episodes, we had episode 100, which was just kind of like a celebration, a little short segments. Episode 200 was the Twilight one, which was just a bit of fun, really.
Yeah.
Just a bit of fun. We're fucking around a little bit.
Yeah. But this time, I thought we would take it more seriously. We would potentially take a look at cinema itself. Just a lot of, really interesting movie pieces I picked for this week.
Well, before you let me ask questions in relation to that, I should quickly just plug a couple things, starting with if you like the show, thank you for listening. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Whether you're listening on Spotify, where you can rate the show, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, where you can review it, or you're listening on YouTube, where you can just subscribe and comment if you want, I guess. I don't know how YouTube works, but we're on there. We're also on patreon.com/oldiebuddygoodypod. Links in the episode description to all of that. Anyway, Zach, here we go. Episode 300. Let's do this.
All right. Yeah, you ready?
I'm ready.
So, for this episode, you're going to have to come up with some creative hints, some creative questions, because I don't want to hear any of the previous questions for this one. I want you to come up with...
Oh, you're cutting all...
Yeah. I'm cutting all of them out. I want brand new questions for this one.
Oh, my goodness.
So you're going to have to come up with each individual question. I want brand new questions. I want creativity.
I can't ask any question that's been asked before, is what you're... That's crazy. All right, okay.
Any questions at all. I want some new ones. I want... 1 second, Sandro. I just got to answer the door. Someone's at the door.
Door? Oh, okay. You could just cut the Starkey then, probably. That's fine.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. I got a letter of some kind.
A letter? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it's for, but
Oh, you're holding up to the camera. That looks important and kind of regal.
Yeah. It's got this seal on it and this embroidery and all this.
What's the seal?
It's a wax imprint of a seal itself.
Of a seal? Of a seal.
Yeah. It's clapping its hands, with a little
Oh,
horn.
Right. That's a very good joke, actually. It's a good visual gag that no one's gonna get. Interesting. Well, the letter, who's it addressed to? Because it's not addressed to you, it's addressed to both. Why did it go to your house? That's so random.
I don't know. Do you want me to send it to your house?
No, I'll take too long. I think we should open it now. It says... What does it say on the part where you address it to someone?
It says, to the producers of Oldie but a Goodie.
Ooh, interesting.
And it has on the back, important, please read now, vital information.
Okay, vital information. And it doesn't say who it's from.
No, it does not have a, from area. The from area just has the seal on it.
Well, just go ahead and open that up, because if it's for us, we should probably read that before we figure out what we're doing for episode 300. It could be important.
Let's have a read of this, shall we?
It says who it's from there at the top.
Oh, it's from Saki.
Oh, wait, it's from our editor?
Yeah, it's from our editor. What is this doing here?
This is so weird. Oh, you're holding up to the camera. It's a poem.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so weird. Well, I guess that we should read this, and while we're reading it in our head, I'm sure that Starkey's voice will magically appear and read this letter. It'll be very cinematic, I reckon, and we are a movie podcast, so it makes sense.
Hear ye, Sandro and Zach. Episode 300 is next week, and that is a fact. Choosy, a movie to review, but you shall not pick one, I shall choose for you.
Wait, what?
As the number is 300 episodes you have done, so many movies you have watched, bad and good but all still fun.
Well, some of them were fun, some of them were bad.
But for next week, you shall journey to a world of CGI.
Oh, God.
For Zack Snyder's 300 is what will be meeting your eye.
For fuck's sake.
No, oh my God, no. What?
The connection to Genie is mythology, a link that's quite simple. But be sure to listen after the closing theme for a twist, a challenge, a wrinkle. Yours truly, Starkey the Editor.
What?
But I mean, that was a great rhyme, but all the effort for the movies that I had prepared, I had these I guess we're doing 300, I guess.
Is he allowed to do that? Is our editor allowed to just pick a movie for us?
I mean, how do we stop him? He's the editor.
That's a
He'll
good
just,
point.
If we try and go against it, he'll just edit us out.
So for episode 300, we're doing 300.
I guess. God damn it. I thought we could do something meaningful. I thought we could do something original. No, we're just going to do some stupid fucking gimmick again, for fuck's sake.
Another dumb challenge. What the fuck is this challenge that Starkey's mentioning that we're going to find out at the end of the episode? Oh dear. Okay. Well, next week is Zack Snyder's 300 for episode 300. I don't want to watch this, actually.
No.
But I guess, okay.
But I guess we're going to have to. That's what Saki said. He's the editor, so I guess that's what we're going to have to do.
And I guess you pick movies connecting to 300 then, because he's already made the choice. So his choice is kind of like in between now. Yeah, we'll do that.
I could probably connect the room to the... I mean,
wait,
whatever
what?
I picked today against that.
Oh, no.
Hello, dear listener. Only you can hear me, for Sandro and Zach are feeling quite weary. The movie 300 they shall review next ep, but a little surprise shall meet them while they're doing their prep. For the two boys have both gotten a little message in their drive. Watch the movie they will not. They will both have to lie and pretend to have watched the movie of the week. I'm thinking that episode 300 will be truly unique.